We're live? Yes, we're live. Cool. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Ryan McClanahan with History Through Cards. And today I have Bobby Burrell with me. And Bobby, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Really good. We had some technical issues, so we're
Yeah, we
delayed a
did.
little bit because we're not the technical guys. So everything's working
No,
now. So we're good.
yeah, Gen X here. So, it's going to
Baby
happen.
boom here.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So what's going on?
well, was it last week? I had the Lucky's Boston show, and that was really fascinating.
Lucky's. I haven't heard of that one. I've heard of Shriners and a few others, but not Lucky's.
Yeah, so
Was it lucky for you?
well, I was pretty lucky at that. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I I'm usually lucky when it comes to shows, and good evening. I hope everything is well with you. And I got a couple of things, and I just did my review. I haven't published it yet. Probably tomorrow morning, I'll do my review of the Lucky Show.
Okay.
It is actually at the Shriners Auditorium too. So
Oh, so they have
yeah,
the Shriners and then Lucky's
so yeah,
back to back?
So Lucky's is usually in April, and the Greater Boston Collectors Convention show is in November.
Gotcha.
So I actually like the one in November a lot better. But either way, a show is a show. You know.
True, true. I'll be going to a small one tomorrow, but this week, starting Wednesday, it's the Canadian National or the Toronto Sports Card Expo.
How is that, by the way?
It's uh, it's it's not what it once was. Obviously, it's bigger, it's larger corporate entities there. I think it's 200 and something thousand square feet. It's quite large, where it used to be before 100,000, something like that. So it has grown quite a bit. I think it's really good. It's fun. You get to meet your friends. You get to walk around. You don't know who's going to show up with what. We get a lot of people from out of town, dealers from the East Coast, a lot from Quebec, a lot from New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, and a few from out west. Not too many, but enough. And then you have the Toronto crowd, which are sort of the mainstay. And I'm one of them. Actually, I'm setting up because every time I buy something, but I get more than one thing, and that other stuff goes, and then now it's a pile. So now I have to push it out. So I'm sharing a booth with my friend Yannick, who's there, my collecting anthology.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, we're going to look forward to. I think we set up 2 years ago, and that was a pretty good show. I enjoyed that. It's always fun just being in the game. Being surrounded by people in the hobby, what's going on in the hobby, that kind of stuff. It's all fun.
Yeah, I'll be going to the national this year again, and for me, really, I mean, I've been now in it for like 30 years in the vintage side of it,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I think it's more about the people and just seeing other people's collections and hearing stories about how and why they got into the hobby and their cards. So I
Gotcha.
think I'm more interested in that now, and I think I've kind of like tried at least to take a step back in collecting. It's not really working out too well.
It
Bobby.
doesn't. It doesn't. No, I can't do it. I tried, but I just couldn't do it. So I have some
Yeah,
pickups I'll show if you're
yeah,
interested. Actually, it's
absolutely.
a test for you because I have something that maybe you don't know, but probably you do. Uh, it's not so common, but it's interesting. So there we go. I don't know if you can see that.
Wow, what is that?
That's a W542. So you have let's get it there. There we go. So you can see it's a strip card.
Is it from the
Not,
20s or
yeah, it's 1919, 1920. I don't know how they dated these, but that's a lot of people have said it's through Novelty Company or something like that. So it's an uncut strip. I actually mounted it in and shrink wrapped it to some foam board so you can handle it. If you drop it, it wouldn't be so bad.
Okay.
So
That's cool. That's really cool.
yeah, the other strip cards with there's Ruth and there's other players too. So I got another one that actually has hockey on it, which is really kind of nice.
Oh wow.
Has some baseball players at the end there, but also there's some skating, bodybuilding.
Is it generic? Are there generic?
It is rather generic. I don't think you can. Supposedly on the baseball, there's two players that look like somebody, and I don't know who those somebodies are. The hockey player looks like nobody I know, but we're going back to early times. The 20s. Not much going on in visuals back then for players, or even that you would recognize. As we get into the 30s, that's when everything started. We were going to talk about a little bit about Batters Up, but that time period is just phenomenal for what came out. That 33, it wasn't 32 or 31, it was 33, 34, 35, 36. Just lambasted. And a lot of copying going on. I know the batters, I'm just throwing stuff against the wall. The Batters Up, they have the die cut cards. And it's really interesting. I was looking into die cutting, the process back in the 30s, and the machines that they had to use. They had these swing arm German machines, but they could only do so much. And on the 36 O-Pee-Chee cards, there's little nubs around the outside border. I don't know if it occurs on the baseball, but they are little nubs. It's sort of like a die cut over the die cut. So the cards were separated through these nubs. If you pulled too hard or wrong way, I guess in the factory, they wouldn't tear off properly, and you'd get a little indentation, or most of the time it has a little nub sticking out.
Yeah, I don't have any with me to examine, but actually I don't. Yeah, actually that's probably not true. I do have this is the 1937 O-Pee-Chee.
Oh yeah, baseball.
So,
can you see the little nubs on there if you put your glasses on? And
I
see something there.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like it on the top of Wentworth's head there. There's a little bit of a nub, I think. But yeah, I think it's like the same. I think it's kind of like the same design, not design, but the same way that they did the Batter Up. These are actually quite difficult here where I am. So I've never actually been able to get my hands on any of these until quite recently, in fact. And the reason why I got this was because he's on the Montreal Maroons, and that's a team I'm very fascinated with. So,
who's the player? I can't really see him in the.
It's Cy Wentworth. Let me see if I can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep, Montreal Maroons.
Yeah,
it's actually a short print in the Beehives. He's probably one of the $5,000 ones.
Oh, really?
He is, yeah. He's in two uniforms. One's a Maroons and one's a Canadians. I think it's the Maroons that he's the $5,000 and the other one's $5.
So he was on both the Canadians and.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if you had to look up his database there, it would be, he played for the Maroons and Canadians. And that was the changeover. A lot of people see with the Beehives, the frame photos from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Those ones, if a player came and they made a photo of him and then he got traded right away, that photo is an instant short print at that time. If anybody ordered them at that, so you have a lot of people who are short prints worth, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 that, had a cup of coffee in the game. Or not a very big star. Very typical short prints go, right?
Yeah. How do people feel about the Beehive sets anyway?
Well, I think we're in an aging population where a lot of those people who collected Beehives know Beehives are in the earlier part of the baby boomer, or what do you call before baby boomer? I don't even know.
Greatest generation.
Oh yeah, the greatest generation. Yeah, okay. So the greatest generation and the early part of the baby boomers, maybe mid baby boomers. My time period is basically over when I'm born. very close to that time. So it doesn't really stay with me. I've seen them over the years. I've owned a few. I still probably own a few. Like I said, that mountain gets bigger. I have some. They don't do as much for me as other things do. I would say. You know.
Like a regular card. This
But I
is
love
the
photos.
baseball version. Of,
Oh, there it is. And who's the
yeah.
player?
That's Buddy Lewis for
Uh-huh.
the Washington Senators back in the day. And yeah, I got really lucky on a couple of these too. So, uh,
Well, it's good if they don't know what's going on, and there's not that many graded compared to baseball stuff. So the pop is always low, but it's not a desirable set for a lot of people. But I'm thinking here, and I'll throw this against the wall too. With regards to all of that, in the 30s, we're talking here because that's 1936, and the hockey's 36, 37. So the baseball came first, the hockey came after. It's really interesting that to die cut those, they could only use a sheet maybe 24 by 24. I think you could only get maybe 20 cards. Now, if you go to the batters up, I know the first series is 40 cards, so it kind of almost works. It's very much so as the same in the 1970s when they did these die cut. I wish I had an example, but I'm freelancing it here. They die cut on the team logos, 1970, 71 and 72 and 73. So you punch it out, wet the back, and stick it on your bunk bed or whatever you did. Now, those always come in a half sheet because they had to cut them down. If you start cutting cards, the die cut will pop. So it was a very slow, strenuous kind of printing process. So I can imagine if you take it back to that time period, it must have been so much more difficult. And I think they printed on very small sheets. Thus, the count and the short prints in the first series. Second series is another 40, so it goes to 80, and then from there, and then we got the color variations, which just is like, whoa, that batters up is just wow.
Yeah,
Six color variations. So it's a very interesting issue, though. It is very.
I think so. The batter ups. First, I like the photography in that set, and then there are some players in there that I don't think are really found in a lot of other sets or baseball sets. It would have been nice to have like a football set too, but they did
Yeah.
they did
Softball did
the
back in the
they
day,
did
but
they did this set too. I just picked this up. This is recent, so I'm showing it here for the first time. The National Chickle. Also, there's nothing really on the batter up that says who did it, and so
huh.
I think they actually may have overextended themselves back in the day, creating several sets essentially at once. So
Yeah, the chickles. There's so many. There's the National Chickle, American Chickle, Canadian Chickle. They did cards and gum and stuff like that. There's rare Canadian sets. You have all
okay,
these chickle companies, and American Chickle in 1908 bought out O-Pee-Chee, well, Somerville Gum. They bought them out of their gum, and Somerville still had a box, and that's where the McDermotts came in, and they started O-Pee-Chee in 1911 because they worked there since 1897. So it's kind of interesting. All these chickles are really, but they didn't really do much, to be honest. American Chickle, Canadian Chickle, and the National Chickle. They didn't do that much either, right? Am I correct?
no, wasn't it like a monopoly as well? The American
Uh,
Chickle.
I'm not too sure about that one. That's an interesting question. We should do that
I
one day.
Yeah, I haven't really studied a whole lot about. I thought that it was founded in like 1899, and I heard that Enos Gordon Gowdy was an employee as well before he started a company of his own, Gowdy, in 1904.
He's Canadian,
Um,
you know that, right?
Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Greek from Nova Scotia. Hey, Lore. There you go. Yeah, it's kind of funny that he moved to the States and he started the company.
Yeah, he's a local. I call him a local guy. Um,
Hmm.
because he's from Massachusetts, but
So many things. National Chickles out of Massachusetts too, right?
I I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So many things came out of you know Massachusetts. I'm surprised. A lot of things came out of Toronto or Quebec. Very little came out of the other extremities of Canada.
Yeah, I
Um,
wonder why.
a population for sure. Between Ontario and Quebec back in that time period, they probably had the lion's share of the population by about 60, 70% almost.
Okay.
Whereas the Western provinces had, you know, 3 million people. Let's say there's 20 million, and then the East Coast had 1 to 2 million, and then Ontario and Quebec had the lion's share of, you know, 8 to 10 million, something like
Are
that.
they so? I've only been to Canada once, when I was a kid. Are those cities near like a lake or like the near the ocean at all?
Which cities are those? Sorry.
Up in Canada, like Toronto
Well,
and
Toronto, yeah, we're right out. I can see right
Quebec.
across. You can see Buffalo. So we have Lake Ontario right there. I'm right
Okay.
in the middle. Toronto's right in the middle, and Buffalo's right across. So you can't miss it. If you go around, then you hit Niagara Falls,
Okay, that's where I was, Niagara Falls.
and then the other
Um,
way is what Fort Erie, and then that's the end of the lakes, and then you get the St. Lawrence River. Then the other lakes kind of all finger in over Minnesota and all over Upper Peninsula in Michigan, and all that stuff is
where
that's where
where were the beehive? Where were the beehives out of?
here Port Credit, which is just sort of a suburb of Toronto off to the east side, lower east. They're right down by the river, right down by
Okay,
Lake Ontario. So
okay,
they were, their head office was there. I think they had other branches for distribution, but most of the everything came out of Port Credit for beehives. And they ran.
okay.
There was the longest running Canadian premium. They ran from 1936 to 1964 ish.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a long
Well,
time. A lot of photos out there. If you go to a show in Toronto or Canada, anywhere, you'll see beehives on a table somewhere. Probably 4 or 5 dealers at least have a half a dozen or a stack of beehives.
this is probably a Victor question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Um, would you consider those to be the rookie cards?
Oh, you don't
Of,
need Victor for this one. I'll tell you, it's a no-no. it's a,
okay,
it's like it's a photo, right? Applied to a cardboard backing. So you have two different things there. You have a photo that's, I guess, 4 by 6 and then 6 by 8, whatever it is. So it can't be a rookie card. And,
okay,
and and the main reason for that is because the issue, you don't know when it was issued. There's the short prints. It's so sorted. It would be too hard to even Victor. Yeah, that'd be a challenge for Victor. You know, he would just hang
poor
up. If I
guy.
called him about that, he'd just hang up on me, and I wouldn't. Probably for a little while. Uh, so I did want to share. It's another thing that was reminiscent about the batters up was the name boxes on the bottom there. That's, like I said, very reminiscent of exhibit cards. Did a lot of that. They always had that box. They had the name. They had, the set it was from or what have you. And it was almost like the first batters up. I ever said, "Oh, that looks like exhibits." Same thing, you know. They would have Underwood. They would have all the different credits for all the different companies they got it from. But it was very similar to that because I know I have a few early ones. There's only one hockey exhibit from the 1925, and it's some guy I've never heard of, but he's supposed to be a Canadian star. What do I know? I can share my screen and show you. I don't know how share a file. Oh yeah,
Uh,
image
hmm,
file. Can I? Here,
okay,
I can just do that right here. I should
sure.
go. Uh, where
I
is it?
know. I know that when you're looking at sports card or I guess candy manufacturers who are issuing sports cards back
Mhm.
in the 1920s at least. Um, hey, Mr. President, how you doing, bud? Um, it all looks like those guys are they all know each other first off, right?
Mhm.
They're all connected in some form or fashion, and so
Well, there was
you have a lot of
confection.
that going on.
There was confectionery meetings. I know they had them in Canada, across Canada, but I'm sure a lot of them went down to the United States, and I'm sure they had different showings and what have you. So
Yeah, the worldwide gum, uh, kind of like that
yeah,
reminds me a lot of like I guess those guys did they know Warren Bowman at all or Gowdy? It was Gowdy, right?
I think everybody knew everybody at that point, especially in
Yeah.
Canada, for our population being so low. They would have to know each other. And once they got a little established and what have you, they make some decent money. I'm sure they did some traveling and went to different conventions they had in the U.S. because they had conventions here too. I have some paperwork on that, and there is a publication that ran since 1900 right up about the confection industry. It was called the Canadian Grocer, and then they had the confection industry information all through there, and new products and what have you. So I went through the whole history. I went to the Rare Brook Library downtown. This was 20 something years ago, and I went through every. Oh, there it is. Oh, I got to put it, and you have to request it. So there you hope that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Al Sutton. Like, who is he? I don't know. Famous
That's
Canadian.
really.
He's famous too.
What's the team here? I'm not familiar with this jersey.
It doesn't say. And I looked him up. We couldn't really find what CHC stand for, but it's Canadian Hockey. Uh, add whatever you want at the end there.
Huh.
There's a lot of leagues going on in Canada. A lot of sub leagues, small leagues, mercantile leagues. Just so many going on, and it was so into different districts and different leagues. It was crazy, like baseball going on, but going back to the turn of the century there and stuff. It's just like, leagues were everywhere. Unfortunately, you didn't get a lot of notoriety unless your local newspaper did, and you have to know where that league was. So every city that was cold, which is most of Canada, would have a hockey team, it would seem,
Okay.
back in that time period. So I'll take that out. I did want to share, I'll remove that and add another photo. I wanted to share this is a better example of the nubs from the O-Pee-Chee.
Oh, very cool.
If you can zoom in to the sides or the top edge, I don't know if you can.
I'm not the most technically gifted of people here.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in, but if you do look on the right side, you see there's two nubs. On the left side, there's one. There's two on the top and actually three on the bottom.
Yeah, I see them.
Yeah. So they were, not only was it die cut, it was die cut around the card too.
Oh, fascinating.
Most of them are missing, I think, due to wear, but they are there if you really zoom in on them. So it's a very interesting concept there.
Huh.
So I had to show you that. I have another photo. Where was it here? Just a second. What was I going to share? Oh, okay, you can share that. So here we have the O-Pee-Chee stand up. They call them their own things, right? The O-Pee-Chee is the hockey stars. It says new and popular hockey stars now with a stand-up action pitcher. The baseball says cutout series, completely different in that sense, but it says stand-up action pitcher in the same place below. Delicious bubblegum 1 cent. The funniest thing about all of this is the hockey had a game. It says save your hockey wrappers and you can send away for a game at O-Pee-Chee. Now that game has been found. The baseball has the same thing, but I've never seen the baseball game ever.
What's the
I'll show you what the game is.
Yeah, I like the design of this on both of them.
Yeah, very well done.
Yeah. the hockey really kind of stands out to me.
So if I add another image file, I guess I could add the game. I think I put the game in there. One sec. There it is. Okay. So I'll take the other one down. And then you can add that if you'd like. And
cool.
That's the game. So I'm assuming the baseball would be very much the same.
So the cards are part of a game.
No.
No, they're
yes
not.
And no, they're not part of this game. No. It actually, this game had evolved in another year or so, and it became a yellow-based game. Now, O-Pee-Chee invented this game, they have the patent for this game. They did one in 1933, and then they advanced. It was an elongated one, and then they did this one. So it's the same premise. Those three things turn. Well, the back doesn't turn, but the left one turns. So you roll a dice, and then you turn it. The next one that they had all the players around from all the Maroons, Canadians, and Maple Leafs. Not all of the players, but most of the key players. And you would play the game that way. So it did advance. But today, we still have not found that O-Pee-Chee baseball game. I just want to see it.
Yeah,
I figured I would have seen it by now, but
it's got to exist, though.
It does.
Right.
It does. They must have made at least a minimum quantity. So why is it not out there? Why is it not found?
So, along those lines, like we've never seen a full sheet of, like, say, any of T206 or T205 or right. So by now you would think after 100 years that one would pop up.
So,
but
isn't it a printing stone?
You still have to have a sheet,
a stone. Well,
you do have stones, right?
Yeah, I did determine on the V145, C55 that they printed in a row the same player, because I could see the miscuts. So I figured they printed at least a row of players. So I don't think you're looking at a sheet. I think they did them in rows. I don't see any up. I don't see any down, but I do see the left to right. So,
okay.
And stone lithography, you can't work with a big sheet and have this one stone to have a little piece. So I can't see them, printing on a big sheet. I think it's strips. Just do a strip across. And that's the way I think it really was. I don't believe that there's sheets. Like, we have this preconceived notion that sheets exist for everything, but with stone lithography, it doesn't exist. I think it strips.
So you very well could be right. So the two things I'm thinking of, one is that there is like a strip card of a T206 Wagner with a few other players, and then you have a full sheet of 1909 OBAC from California. However, that's a different company altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about the American Lithograph Company, and they could have very easily done it what we were talking about here, a strip. But I'm open to any suggestions here, because I think, like, when you look at the T206, T205, and T207,
mm-hmm.
They look completely different, behind the scenes, if you will, under a microscope than like a lot of cards from like the 1930s.
So it's true that it's regional, correct? The backs are. So they only had certain, like, are they shipping this stone? They're keeping this stone stationary because, it is limestone. It will break. It's strong yet weak at the same time. So I'm wondering, that's why they did that, because of the restriction of having the stone. So, you can have it in Massachusetts, but what if it went over to St. Louis? Like, you're going to ship it over there and hope it doesn't break? I don't think so. And that's
how heavy were those things anyway?
Well, I did find the printing stone for the first issue for Imperial Tobacco of Hockey. Well, my friend found it, and the whole story goes on from there. I put it on my scanner. It was about 25 pounds.
Oh, wow.
It had to sit on the rails, thank God, because it would have just broke the glass, because it's way too heavy. But I did get high resolution scans of it. and they're all backwards in reverse, sort of a Da Vinci thing. And it was phenomenal that it was even found.
Yeah, I would say I'm still very curious about the printing process back then, because I think it's a lot different than afterwards.
Well, then they went to copper, right? They went to copper plates and stuff.
Yeah.
Those might be more in the sheet form, I would say. But I think T206, I think they did them in strips. Maybe one or two player strips, maybe, but they would do the same player. And this made a lot of sense because here we have a great example. This isn't, stone lithography, but, they would go across, do one, do a next, do the next, do the next, do the next. Because what are you going to go down and you got a sheet this long? You're going to start moving this thing and trying to center it. This is the only way to control that pressing right in the spot that you need it to be pressed in. And I think they all came in strips. So you heard it here first, and I'm probably wrong, but who knows?
Until we find one.
Sense, right? From what I've seen. Because that stone isn't easy to work around. You can't have a big sheet and try to put that stone on, like to center it. Like it's almost impossible. You can center one of these easily on a stone, but try to center more than one or even a strip. It would be almost impossible. So I think the C55, 56 were done on a single strip, very much like this. Just
okay.
But we'll never know. Well, we may find out one day.
You never know. There's cards out there that have been printed 100, 150 years ago, and we're still finding stuff today. So, and that's one of the fun things about the hobby is you don't know what is out there, and
and I can't find stuff from the 70s and 60s, that cereal boxes and stuff. Go figure.
Yeah, and my theory on current cards is that 20, 30, 40, even 50 years from now, we're going to find things that we didn't know anything about today, so.
Likely. I don't think it'll be as much as we found in the last, I've been documenting. I just did a video on that, on sort of my starting roots into the historical part of, collected my whole life from 1970, first pack opening. And I got to the Hall of Fame in the 90s there. And I saw that Gary Kareem 54 full box of hockey sitting right there. And I'm just like, what? And then I started collecting wax because I was getting kind of bored, and what have you. So that started me on the trail of, you start collecting wax and you don't know which wrappers. So you start looking into it and then you find this information, that information. And go figure, back in 2000, we didn't know all the wrappers, and we're still finding stuff out now. I'm going to sit here and talk to you about Butterfinger. The Canadian Butterfinger, the Canadian, who in the right, the funny part is the information was out there and they're still calling it Canadian Butterfinger. And it's just non-rational to me because there was an envelope found. It was a salesman sample envelope. It says Opeachy on it. And Butterfinger didn't come into Canada till 1994.
Oh, wow.
We already had Crispy Crunch since the 1920s, which is actually very much the same. So if there's no Crispy Crunch, I'm going for Butterfinger. But I'm just saying,
same thing.
It is very much so. Butterfinger's a little thicker and rounder, whereas the Crispy Crunch. Oh, here, I'll show you what it. Yeah, let's get this one out of there, and I'll share this with you.
When was Butterfinger introduced? 1932 in the 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I have that right there. No.
I'm not the biggest fan of Butterfingers in general, but if it's around, I will munch on a few. So
I have the sweet tooth, so it's to my detriment. Okay, you can share that. So that's a Crispy Crunch.
Oh, Nielsen.
Nielsen bought out almost every chocolate company over the years. They bought out Patterson. They bought out all the card related companies. They bought them out. They were one of the biggest. Yeah. Willards.
And obviously they've been around for what? Well, they've been starting making cards in the 20s, right?
Yeah, they've been around since the turn of the century for sure. Well, they started out differently. They were a bakery. They started out back in the 1860s, I think, as a bakery and farming stuff, like, and then they slowly got into, milk and then chocolate and then, the evolution of the company. It's a very, very storied history. And they have a great archives that I still haven't went down and seen yet, but it's downtown Toronto. It's just, I don't know. I will get there one day, but they
Oh,
do have an archive.
you gotta go.
I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just been one of those things I just pushed to the back because there's nothing really that I need to know right now, but maybe I don't know that I should go. It's not like Nielsen has a lot of issues. Yeah, they did stuff back in the 30s, 20s, the cars, you name it, flags, all these other, non-sports issues. So anyways, wait, we're getting into the Butterfinger. Yes. So well, let's continue on with the Butterfinger and
absolutely.
Let's denounce the Butterfinger and I understand why. Like I was telling you before, I did my story a little bit about how I started researching and stuff, and I started turning over stuff that who knew we didn't know in 2000, 2005, 2010. Still didn't know a lot of stuff, not even just wrappers, even cards, the black swamp vine, all those other things that we found in most recent years. We never knew about these things. So we've uncovered a lot of stuff. Now, the Butterfinger is certainly one set that you would think that people would say, well, why don't I just do a Google search and see if Butterfinger is Butterfinger? Okay. Oh, they didn't go to Canada until 1994. Oh, really? Okay. So that takes that out. It eliminates it really quick because I did do a search on that about a week or two ago. I was looking into the Butterfinger and I was looking through my files and I came across that envelope, the salesman sample envelope, and it says O-Pee-Chee on it and what have you. Well, why don't I just show you? And that'll be a little bit easier for everybody to see. All right, image file. I'll show you the original. I sent you a copy that's a little bit more visually better, but go ahead.
All right. This is awesome, by the way.
Yeah. So this was found. Measures to the cards exactly. The one thing it does say on it, it says 100 sticks of bubble gum and 50 big league stars. So I never take anything, especially in a salesman sample, which are very few anyways. I never take that to heart because I think there's 58 in the Canadian set of the players, because anything can happen along the production time. It's just like, hey, we forgot these guys. This happened with York Peanut Butter. They added glasses right at the end of the promotion. It was just, so this stuff happens. It's a bubblegum company. We're not talking Google here. We're not talking all these high-end companies. These guys are bubblegum. Very simple. So things happen along the way. Hey, you forgot Babe Ruth. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Okay, let's get a few of these other guys in there too. So this is what happened. But it clearly states, maybe, I'll have to enlarge it to read it. I should put my glasses on. I don't have to. This is a large 6.5 by 8.5 picture of your favorite baseball star and one large, and I think it says stick of gum for 1 cent. And in French, It says, I'll leave that for Yannick. 100 sticks, 100 pitchers in each box, 50 big league stars. Okay. So there's 100 sticks of gum and there's a box. Now, the best part about being Canadian is that your hockey stuff, and there's something that relates to this directly, which makes a lot of sense. And I'll share that with you right now. And this is I think I have it right here. It's 19. All right. I'll just share this one. This is 1939, the display box for the O-Pee-Chee cards, the 5x7s. So it says take the top picture.
I do have one of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're actually kind of nice. I like them. My grandfather had a stack of 40 in there. It's really kind of funny because half are movie stars, Bing Crosby, what have you, and half were hockey stars. The funny part, he had a lot of doubles of players. So you had to take the first one that was viewing in the box.
Huh.
The store owner would, no flipping through it. You got to take that front one. It even
Okay.
says that on the back of the box there. I will add that one as well. I think I have the front and back of the box here. Well, actually, I did a little something here. I did this back when because I found this box. My friend bought it, but it was at a Montreal show. And I kind of situated going, I wonder how this worked, because they had to sell some gum with it. So I have these little peachy wrappers. I think I got one around here. Sorry, I'm getting ready for the show, so everything's everywhere.
Is this the 1939 box?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
I have a card I want to show you real quickly.
Sure. And I think I have another photo of the back of the box where it gives you a little bit more of the instructions. I thought I attached it here. I guess I did. Oh, yeah, I did. Right here. Okay, there it is. I was a little prepared.
So this is...
I think I know who that is right away, because that's one that my grandpa had two of.
You see it?
Boston Bruin. Yeah, of course, it's Boston Bruin.
Yeah.
You know why it's the Boston Bruin? Because they're the only team in that time period that had numbers on the front and back and no logo.
Which is a bummer for me because I like their logo, but this is Dick Clapper.
Yep.
And
that's Dit Clapper, everyone.
Yes.
Yes. Just trying to rectify that. There's the other picture that shows the back of the box. And it gives you a little bit more instructional. Oh, it's upside down. Anyways, it says turn over and tuck the flap, because that flap bends over to the back so you can mount it on the countertop. It says the box, and do not let the children go through them. So very strict on that, because then they'd be pulling out all the stars and they're left with nobody and they're not selling any. How much were they? It doesn't really say, but I assume probably 1 cent and a gum in that time period.
Okay.
So
yeah.
I believe that this is very much similar to the Butterfinger, aka the Butter. It's always going to be called Butterfinger because it takes like 20, 30 years to change information. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people who think that the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle is his rookie.
That's his rookie, isn't it? No. and O-Pee-Chee cards were cut with piano wire. Okay, sure. Beckett printed it once, and I've been defending that for the last 30 years. So man. Yeah. Imagine if the tauntness that would have to get when it broke the PSI, it would cut you in half. Like, geez. Anyways,
well, you kind of have to wonder where people got these ideas from too, right? I mean, I think maybe because it's people who are writing the information who weren't around, or they were little kids, and or you know what I'm saying, like their memories may be a little off. Like
sure.
if you were around in like the early 30s and you were maybe 5 years old or 6, right? Mm-hmm. And you're collecting cards, you're obviously the human memory is everyone likes to think that their memory is great, but obviously it's not as great as people think it is.
Most people, yes, for sure. I have very good recall. I think that's one good thing I am good at is recall. I can put myself in a store when I'm 5 years old, buy my first pack, throwing the wrappers down in that little well they had for the basement window, and hit the guy coming out with a garbage can and throwing it down, going, put your wrappers in there. I want one dump from that garbage bin. Just one. Just now. Get all the wrappers that everybody threw in there. There's some examples of the Canadian Butterfingers. And I'm not going to call them Butterfingers. I'm going to call them, what should we call them now?
Well, didn't these also, weren't there other candies that or chocolate bars that came with this as well? Either like Mars
O-Pee-Chee.
or like...
No, O-Pee-Chee. These are O-Pee-Chee specifically.
These are O-Pee-Chee. Okay.
They didn't do any chocolate bars. Not until later, but it was more candies and sunflower seeds and stuff like that.
Okay.
No real chocolate bars, as I can understand and remember. So no, it's nothing related to a chocolate bar. It actually, it's really hard to believe that it's a premium. So you buy a chocolate bar and you get a free photo. Is that what it was with the Butterfinger?
Yeah.
Have we proved that?
I don't think so.
Hmm. So, anyways, it's yet to be determined in my mindset, but it's okay to, I guess, go there with it. That's fine. And that's the one thing, when we're historians is, I want prove me right. Don't prove me, you can prove me wrong all day. I love it. But prove it
Right.
right first before you assume. You can say it assumptionally, sure, but I want to be proved right. So,
Yeah.
so these are, I guess we have to call them something. Um, it didn't really say on the wrapper, so I guess we'll think of something and bring it to. Does PSA grade them or SGC or Beckett or all the same anyway? So are they
I
gradable?
so I want to say they may have been at one point in time
Does
because
anybody out there know?
so I have seen the Dixie Lid premiums graded, and I want to say that I have seen one or two of these graded, or the American version. So
So
I
the
I don't
Butterfingers are graded, are they?
I think they may have been
Okay.
at one point in time. I think they may have stopped, and I could be completely wrong
They
too.
did that with beehives. They actually started grading them and then they sort of stopped. So whatever happened there.
Yeah.
The holders, but now they have all the different size holders, so I don't see why they can't grade them. None of them will really grade nice. The cuts are always bad. The quality is certainly not there, but they look great, like some great shots. And again, I do see in a couple of the photos, it has the little tagline Underwood, very much like the exhibit. So a lot of photos made the circuit, be it exhibit, be it, you know, the baseball. I'm not sure if this, the batters up is related to that, but there's a small grouping of pictures that seem to get around to where the players. I think these match the Goody ones, the Goody previews.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the photos, I believe, because Goody has these, and these are also with the Butterfinger. Well, it's the Goody Butterfingers, isn't it? I can't remember now.
Oh, so back in the day, I know Curtis used to do the Butterfinger and
Yep.
the others, and I don't I don't remember what happened to Curtis as a company. They probably got bought out by somebody like Mars or something like that, or Hershey. But I have to I have to do some research on Curtis.
He was the owner was a big hockey fan. They actually had the Butterfingers hockey team.
Really?
I have a file full of pictures. You want to see it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Give me 2 seconds and I'll find it here.
Okay.
All right. Oh, no, I know where it is. Okay. I can find it pretty quick. I have a good organized file here. And then just when you think you know where something is, I'm actually going to just type it in. It'll be faster. Butter. All right. There it is, hockey. Open file location. And there we go. That's not really the best file. I thought I had a better. Okay. There we go. Now, let me enlarge that. Is that? Oh, that's the Blackhawks. Sorry, my mistake.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I must have clicked the wrong file there. I will.
That's a cool photo.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in here.
I always like the Blackhawks logo.
Oh yeah, everybody loves the Blackhawks logo. It's famous. All right, so I'm gonna have to go back out to here because I thought I had Baby Ruth 30-minute. All right, but yeah, it was quite interesting. I came across some of the files, and oh, there we go. Let me open the file location and see where we're at here. Okie doke. There we go.
Okay.
You can see they're called the Butterfingers right across the middle there.
That is really neat.
Yeah, so they did this tour and I'm just going to add a couple more pictures from that file. I don't know really what's coming up because I can't see it clearly, but we'll go with it any which way. All right, there's the.
Okay, what are we looking at here? Oh, the Blackhawks hockey team. What year?
See, there's something going on with the Blackhawks and the Butterfingers there. I'm not too sure because it's in the same file, and I'm usually pretty organized, so I don't know why it's ending up in there. See, so the Butterfinger. Let me see. I'll share that with you, anyways. Oh, there it is. All right. Yeah, I don't know why that's in there. Sorry about that.
No, that's.
I have a Butterfinger file though.
Okay, Baby Ruth.
Oh, it's the Curtis company, right? So, and yeah, I can't seem to find the Baby Ruth, the actual file. Sorry about that.
So I seem to remember a couple of stamps on the American version of those Butterfingers, but some of them were stamped Butterfinger, and I think a few others were stamped Baby Ruth. And that's just the American versions. So would there be anything stamped for the quote unquote Canadian version that you're aware of?
No.
Okay.
None whatsoever. Oh yeah, they had a tournament, and that's what was going on. So I am in the correct file now. So here's just a group lot of all the photos I got from. There it is. And yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in, but it just shows all the games that they played, where they played in this tournament, some of the player pictures. They actually have personal player pictures as well, which is really interesting. Where is it? All the photos, the real photos too, they have, which is really kind of nice. I tried to figure out all the players and the names, but none were really that famous. But they took pictures of along their travels, and I think it's some in Chicago. I think the tournament was in Chicago, and they played against. It's been a while. I haven't been to this file for a few years, so I can't really rightly remember. But anyhow, that is the Butterfinger. So he was the owner was a big. It says in the write-ups in the newspapers that he was a big hockey fan, and that's why he made a team called the Butterfinger. So I don't think they did any Baby Ruth, though.
Okay,
could be wrong though.
There's still more out there to I'm sure to see. You know, there has to be something else, right?
Oh yeah,
we haven't found
lots. There's still lots out there. I don't really know. Just gonna have a quick look to see if I can see anything else. Otherwise, yeah, we're gonna have to come up with, like I said, a name with. I'm just looking through that quickly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just the write-ups. Oh, there's bills and receipts and a lot of other things. But I think they have the picture of the owner in here as well. Well, actually, I did all the names on the newspaper.
What's his name? The owner?
I can't remember right now.
Okay.
Well, oh no, of the Curtis company. He's actually, and he's with the coach here in this picture. What's that one called? I don't know if I can see if I can find that one. I think it's this one here. There we go. I know we're so interesting here, aren't we?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I think it's Chicago. Somebody said they recognized something there. I can't really remember. I think I was telling Victor about this, and I was asking him because they have park pictures and they're on little monuments of things. And he says, "Yeah, I think that's in this park in Chicago." And I went, "Yeah."
Isn't he from Chicago?
Yeah. So there you go. Just another thing in the files. It's nice. I think I did an article on it, but it was really kind of interesting. but the interest level really isn't there for a lot of people. But I think it's interesting just to document it, so at least somebody did. Because when we're long gone, and like you said, 50 years from now, hey, there is that article because I just came across something, you know. Because family and generations, when people have money, what do they say? It takes 3 generations for you to lose. Like if somebody owns a big company and they hand down money, that it takes 3 generations, then it's usually gone. So, you know,
Yeah,
it might end
the
up,
Vanderbilt,
yeah.
right? The Vanderbilts.
Hmm.
It took them well, at least 2 or 3 generations, and I think Gloria was the only one that really made something of herself, other than Cornelius there.
Hmm.
So and that's too bad.
But they had
That
fun
really is.
along the way. So,
Oh,
you know,
they had a blast.
they sure did. So what happens with all these people who have money is they keep things in their archives. They don't care. It's downstairs. It's in a wherever storage locker, what have you. All that stuff is put away, either thrown out or put away. And they don't need the money, so they don't want to sell it. And like I said, 3 generations later, stuff will start sprouting out because it'll be like, hey, that stuff worth some money. I need some cash. Like, let's put it back out there. So
that
that has happened actually already. We're kind of going through that cycle.
Yeah, it's a second cycle, I believe, in the hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when you had the original founders like Jefferson Burdick and his crew, they started to pass away in the 1970s and 1980s,
Yeah.
and that's when, from what I've heard, they had 90% of the vintage, or 10% of the collectors had 90% of the vintage.
Oh,
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that sounds, it
it's a
doesn't,
spitball number. It's not really.
yeah, yeah. So, but you did see a lot of cards that were not known previously when those guys passed away.
Well, I think they were known, but we didn't have the internet.
Or they've forgotten about.
We didn't have magazines really to show people. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
so until it went to, you know, we hit critical mass with amount of people and collectors and magazines, and you know, we had Tough Stuff at Beckett and Canadian Sports Collector and Sports Collectors Digest. We had so many things out there one time through the 80s, 90s, and even into the 2000s. That stuff was slowly coming out in little articles, and it took time. And I think that people did know about it. They had it, but they didn't realize, because where did it come from? Somebody must
Right.
have had it. It's not like they had the only ones. They're the first ones to document them. I would, or bring them to a public viewing, is what they did. So did they really have that? No, those numbers don't seem right. And
Yeah.
they would have had, well, if they had all the vintage, then how many thousands and thousands of 30s cars did they have, or 40s cars? So they would have to have that many, because that's how many are out there now. Thousands, hundreds of
And,
thousands.
yeah, T206 is not a rare set. And they made they made millions of those, and there are still millions of those. So um
Comes
yeah,
down to condition, though.
it's really kind of fascinating to me too. I was watching another podcast. I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I don't want to embarrass him here, but
Oh, I got one to talk. Oh no, I won't say his name either.
okay. You don't have to. You don't
It
have to
might
say
be the
names.
same guy. I don't know. Maybe, right?
There was a guy who said, don't be old, try to be young, and he didn't know who some of your basic ball players were, like Pete Rose, or Yogi Berra. I was kind of like taken aback too, with some of the players that I would have thought he would have known, but he clearly didn't. And it's just I was kind of frustrated, to tell you the truth, just listening to this gentleman, because I wanted to like the video and the information, but it came across as insulting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's
I see that people put videos out for the sake of putting videos out. We have a lot of historian, what do they call it? Internet historians now. So they take every little piece that they find on the internet and they put it in their videos. And a lot of it's incorrect. So you're passing on bad information. That's the worst part that I like. I don't care that you stole all my stuff, and you can't say you say George Vizina, and you're wrong. And the Butterfinger, you didn't do your homework. There's lots of things these people do, and it just and I look at them. They got 1.6K members, and in 3 days they have 1.6K views, and I'm going, how does that math work? We wish for 1.6K. I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
how do you get that in 3 days if you only have 1.6? It was so random that it just went out there and got viral. I don't know. Just saying.
I think there's a lot of people who, especially in the vintage side, that they really do know their stuff. But then you have a lot of people who are coming in that just absolutely don't, and they kind of wing it or spitball it, and
This guy did his homework. Like, he actually had a good base of, but he was wrong. It was like, it was good, but you're throwing out bad information out there. We've spent so long trying to correct it, and everybody's just throwing out bad shit again. It's just like, man,
yeah,
and it's still to this day, we have people in videos who are good at what they do, and they still say, well, Peachy was cut with a wire. It's like, should I comment again on this one? There wasn't, no. You almost give up at a point. Just say, forget it. If you don't know, then you don't know.
Right. So and I'm always, so in my videos, like, I always tell people, like, I don't know everything, and like, because if I did, life would be really boring, and
and a lot easier.
Yeah. And so, like, I love to learn about new things, and just to learn from other people. And there are, I hate to bash other generations, especially the younger generations.
Oh, it's okay. You're good. The new generation. We're going in reverse. Don't worry. The music is so much better today than it was back in the 60s. Come on.
Oh my God. Well, well,
we're just old guys. We're talking.
Yeah. So I seem to think that a lot of the younger generations just don't want to, or they don't care about the history of the hobby, or where these cards came from, how they were issued, anything that generally, like, we talk about. And I don't see that you can really make a lot of money if you don't care about how these cards were produced or issued.
There's no money in it. We know that. No money in it for us in documenting things.
Well, no, there isn't. But if you're a seller, if you're a dealer,
yes.
How can you sell something if you don't know anything about what you're selling?
Because the slab tells you everything you need to know. It has become a little bit of a lazy society in that sense. I usually give people a break because, not until people hit around 40 or 50, they start to look back on the history, but it's their history, and we have our history.
Right.
Everybody has their era and that they remember and going back to. And, the halcyon days of the 70s was, it was beautiful. Everything was great. It was rough. I wanted my license. I wanted a car. I wanted, now they don't need a car. Now they can just call Uber. You don't have to do any. You don't have to drive to 6 malls to find a Christmas present for your girlfriend. You don't have to do that today. You just go on Amazon, bang, dang, poof. So as far as we had advanced, we lack in the emotional tie-in that we have in with things, because it becomes so pedestrian in a sense that, it's just
there was
an order or something. She'll get it delivered to her door.
Yeah, and there was a YouTuber that was reviewing a video of what the hobby was like in 1990, and you may have seen this video. It's actually quite interesting, and it brings back a lot of memories from me. But he was actually kind of surprised too, that he got a lot of things wrong, but and I don't really agree with a lot of his takes. However, he had also noticed too that as a hobby, I think we're always kind of like going around and around and around with certain things. Because he was saying like, "Oh my God, they did that back then," or like, this guy was like spot on back in 1990,
Mhm.
or some guys' takes from 1990 were completely off because, uh, again, like it's kind of hard to predict where technology is going to go 30 years from now,
Mhm.
you know. So
What was the Jetsons thought, right? How things are going to be. We're not there yet, but
right,
we're
right,
getting to certain parts of it. Yes, I get it. So, who's the biggest
yeah,
dreamer out there? I guess.
yeah. Hey, good evening, Doug. Hope all is well. And
Thanks for
yeah,
joining.
so yeah. So, is there anything else you would like to discuss?
Check out my new videos. That's it. No,
Yeah. Oh,
no.
by the way,
I'm doing a series. I did it in 3 parts. So I did my. I'm breaking the Opeachy and the Tops codes. The Tops codes I did 20 something years ago, but I don't see anybody doing it. So I'm going to reiterate it as part 3. Part 2. There's stamps on the bottom of the Opeachy boxes. There's a 36 stamp. If it came to Canada from they'd cross out the 24 count, put 36. Because 36, we had a 36 count 4 cards. You guys had a 24 count 6 cards. Still 144 cards, whichever way you slice it. But I think we wanted more packs. It was more of a competition thing between Parkhurst and Opeachy being on the shelves. And because, Canada's so linear and long that the shipping, it's easier to ship one box of 36 rather than a 24 and a 24 and a 24. It costs a lot of money in the shipping cost to them. So I think that's why they use that. And so on the bottom of the boxes, and we're talking about almost every product. Here you go, Topps license plates. This is the Opeachy version. It actually says right there. Oops.
oh, there we go.
Why is it? It's the light.
There you go.
Yeah. So this is a 36 count box. This is 1953. There's the wrapper. I've actually shrink wrapped the wrapper to the back. And it has the Opeachy verbiage on it, so which
Oh
is
wow.
really great. So as early as 1953, I'm not totally convinced it's 53, but I'm pretty sure. Because 52, they sent up baseball. 53, they started with this, and they also did Look and See. I think that's 53 as well. But I think in Canada it came out in 54. That's why I think this is really 54. A lot of people say 53, but it just seems it's more 54 because they say what for the license plates, Topps 1952, and it says that on the Look and See as well, 1952 Topps. And then they got into a little bit more of the verbiage, in Canada issued by Opeachy. That happened in 1954. The baseball boxes were 36 count, 55, 36 count. All the other non-sports boxes came in that way. And when they brought them in later after 1955, they stopped printing because it was a costly thing. And they couldn't predict how many I don't know, rat patrol they were going to do. So they would just, send up a Topps box, and they would just cross out the 24 count and stamp 36. So there was a stamp across every box that was distributed in Canada, but it was neutralized because it had both Topps and Opeachy, issued by Opeachy under Topps license. And the same thing with the United States. A lot of people say, hey, this is an Opeachy box. No, they said it on all the boxes. Topps thing by Opeachy in Canada. So everyone thinks it's a Canadian box, but it's not. But
What
this one
year?
is.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to ask you too. But what years did Opeachy start issuing baseball cards?
1937, you know that.
37, but more recently, no. But so like for Topps,
Well, okay. It Topps in 1952 have a warehouse full of stuff. They go, okay, McDermott's, hey, I'm going to send you up some. You want to take some? I got a warehouse full. Can you get rid of some? We know they came up here because of the amount of Mickey Mantle rookies that are found in Canada. There's so many. There has been so many over the since the 90s. It's just an unbelievable amount. So
It's not a rare card.
Not a rare card. No, double or triple printed. I don't know, whatever they say.
I think it's actually triple printed.
I've heard that by a few actually guys who are old. My friend, he hangs out with John Ramirez all the time. He's his best friend. You probably seen him because he's right there always. But anyways, he those guys vintage collect. They know their stuff.
John is he's a wealth of information.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, the stories that guy has. Oh yeah.
And so 52, we have O-Pee-Chee baseball being distributed up here. 53, it's obviously, is it 53? Is it or 54? I'll say 53 or 54, one of the two. Until we prove it, I'm not too sure. Like, because this says 52 on it and the Look and See has 52 on it, we assume that it was 54. But not until now the baseball, 1954, the language, the O-Pee-Chee gets written on there. And then 55. So in 53, they have this already, the language already on there, but they didn't have it on the 53 baseball. So baseball would take, you could sell baseball license plates. Maybe not. That's a risk, putting your name on a product and getting it up from Tops going, hey, listen, make $40,000. Well, no, because you don't know if it's going to sell. So this is why I think it's 54. Like, you can argue it till you're blue in the face because you can't prove that it's 53 to me. But I can almost prove to you indirectly that it's 54 because it started with the baseball and the hockey. The funny part about the hockey, it's a 24 count box, where the O-Pee-Chee baseball in 54 was a 36 count, and 55, 36 count. Hockey, 24 count. And the Tops wrapper doesn't say O-Pee-Chee. The box says it across the bottom edge, in Canada made by O-Pee-Chee, but the Tops wrapper is all American. 6 cards per pack, not the 36 count 4 cards. It's 6 cards. So definitely an American product. Remember, they're going against Parkhurst at that time. So I'm thinking they're still in the midst, because remember, they had a 2-year hiatus after that for hockey. They came in 54-5. They weren't there in 55-6 and 56-7. And Parkhurst too. 56, they were gone. But they came back in 56-7. So they had a year hiatus, Parker. So I think there was a lot going on with the licensing. It might even been a court case, but I can't find anything online for that. So to say that, the baseball was there and they had printed on the boxes, printed on the wrappers. And actually it was 4 cards on the wrapper, on the box. On the 55 box, it's got 4 cards and it's crossed out and then it's stamped 5. I'm going, wow, that's cool. Because O-Pee-Chee's packaging, because they're not packaging 4 cards there and a 4 and then on the baseball pack it says 6 cards. So we are 2 separate entities, and they're not putting that on first in 53 on the box. They're not risking it. They're going, okay, we're going all in. So it seems like that pattern fits 54 and 55. 55 double play, there's a box with an O-Pee-Chee stamp, made in Canada by O-Pee-Chee. There's no Tops on it. It says made in Canada by, I think the O-Pee-Chee's on the bottom, the Tops on the very bottom line, but it's made in Canada. So that was a last minute call, because the double, it wasn't your regular baseball issue. And the funny part, the bottom of the box, and this is the 1 cent, it has 240 count. Oh, the stuff that comes out from boxes, man. It's amazing. So that, I'm actually preempting what's going to happen in the next video. So what I'm doing is breaking down the code. So every time they stamped a 36, there was a stamp on the bottom of every box that came in from Tops or issued in Canada for O-Pee-Chee or Tops, the hockey. So they had this stamp. It was 2 numbers, 2 letters, and 1 number. So I call the video breaking the O-Pee-Chee codes. And then also the third part, like I said, we'll be breaking the Tops codes. From that only went from 57 till 1966, and then 66 Tops came in with their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 codes, 7 numbers. has the year, it has whether it's a box wrapper, whether it has the series of, is it a baseball, and then it gets into, box counts, all that stuff is there. And like I said, I broke that code about 25 in 2000. I broke that code, so that's been a long 25, 26 years now. But I haven't really published anything too much on it. I think I did something a long time ago, but I think it needs a refresher. And that's easy to tell on the bottom of one of the boxes. You go, oh, it ends in a 7. Okay, it's 1977. It doesn't really tell you because it ends in a 7. So it's 67, 77, or 87. But you can tell by the design of the box what era that would be, 60s, 70s, or 80s. And so it does break down. So that's what I'm trying to do is trying to allocate the code of what meant that on the bottom of the boxes. Now it is speculatory, but it does show a pattern because I've been tracking them all. So I have a whole bunch that I ran down and I was kind of allocating, and print runs, something like that. No dates or anything, but the O-Pee-Chees, it's a very interesting code. So I'll be coming out with that probably the next couple days.
Oh, okay.
And that gets into something, as someone said, well, it's rather niche. I'm saying, yeah, but somebody's doing it. And it means stuff to people. Do you know how much people pay for these boxes? Like $1,000 for an empty box. Hello. What was it? 58 box just came up. 58, 59 hockey box just came up. That's like $8,000, $7,000
for an empty box.
Empty. Yeah, and we're talking hockey, so you get some really good. But you get some of the baseball 1 cent boxes. They get up there. You get the 56, beautiful, weird looking picture on it in the yellow box, beautiful box. Some of those go for like a few $1,000s. I've seen quite a few of them go for it. You need to get the test box, $8,000-10,000. Even the Bobby or rookie box, last one, I don't know, $8,000, maybe $10,000 next one. Even Gretzky's rookie box is going, it went from, I don't know, it used to be a couple $100, then it went to about, over the years, last 20 something years. And, because I was tracking it because I'm a box collector. And then it got up to, $500, and then it went to $800. And then all of a sudden we had the boom, and then it's $1,600 box. So it's like, okay, pretty common.
Are there any wrappers or boxes that you have never seen before, and do you think that they're out there?
Oh yeah,
specifically.
The funny part is Parkhurst, out of the 40 issues of trading cards that they did, there's been 9 found boxes, and some of the wrappers are one of a kind, or some we haven't even seen. With Topps products, there's 1 box missing. We found all the wrappers, and the only box is missing is the 5960. Now it's funny, that 58 box, they used both the same wrapper, same design. They did this in 61 and 62, same box design. They changed the color, same thing. 58, 59. One was a green wrapper and one's a yellow wrapper, but it's the same image. So we know 1 year, the next year. You can tell by the advertisement that's on the side usually, and matches up to the boxes, and a lot of it'll match up to football or what have you, whatever offering they have. So yeah, I haven't seen that box, but a lot of people, because it says 1959, everyone goes, oh, it's 5960. No, because O-Pee-Chee always released in January. And if you look at the Gretzky box, here's a typical example, that case. So it says 1980 on it because O-Pee-Chee is in January. So it's 1980 when it goes out. With Topps, it's 79. So it's documented 79. So if you look on any of the display boxes through the 70s there, through the 80s there, in the later 80s, it says 86, but on Topps box it say 80, 85. O-Pee-Chee Topps, because of the different release time. So Topps would release before, and then O-Pee-Chee would wait for all the trades, and that's why our set got bigger. We got trades and the expansions or whatever. They would always collectively, and it's Canada, so they want to cover more players and what have you. So that's just what happened there.
What Parkhurst wrapper or box have aren't around, like, that you haven't seen or anyone has seen?
Well, there's like I said, there's only 9 boxes found. So every other one that I haven't seen. I would have documented it. So
like, Oh no, I was gonna say like it. In the back of my mind, I think that 1953 or 54 Parkhurst would be around. I mean, that's very
53
popular
is around.
set.
54, there's a top. 51, no. 52, no. 53, no. 54, no. 55, no. We have a wrapper from the wrestling. 56, and I'm just doing hockey really here for the most part. 56, no. 57, yes. 57, 8, we have both of them Maurice Richard on it. Same picture used, but two different boxes from 53 to 58. And hockey, we have there's a 62 and a 63 just found a little while ago, but
Oh wow!
5 or 6 months ago.
So 63 is the last year for Parkhurst.
And I think there's 3 boxes. They had 3 different offers on the hockey game and 3 autographed pucks or a Stanley Cup, mini Stanley Cup. They have 3 different wrappers. So the one box that came up was for the hockey game. So I'm going, they got to have the other 2 boxes because it's their last stab, right? You know, Topps has just been, you know, beating their door down, and they just said, okay, I had enough. Too much farting around here. So they just gave up, but they gave it their last all with that set.
Okay.
So, but they still came back because actually, I do have something that's very interesting. If I can remember where the heck I put it, because I'm so organized in my files usually, and my desk is never. But I think it's in here. Because I just did the the Parkhurst video a little while ago, and I just came across a wrapper. I haven't seen this. I've seen the wrapper once. Okay, I found it. So this is Parkhurst, but I don't know if you've ever seen this issue before. It's a non-sports issue. It is called Horrible Horoscopes.
Oh, cool.
1972. Now, Swell Gum put this out. Philadelphia Chewing Gum Swell. Ed Fenimore.
Oh, yeah.
But it has the Swell Gum on the back. On the back of this, it says Zip. And it says Grant Products because in 1963, Parkhurst amalgamated with all the other companies and called it Grant Products. So there is a Parkhurst per se issue. So that's a Canadian issue exclusive. So that's horrible.
That is interesting.
Yep. And it's still sealed. I think there's only maybe 2 or 3 cards in there and gum. But yeah, so the zip across the back, that shows it all. So they did that with the superheroes, the Marvel superheroes. That was another one. What was the one that they called it Donruss? The Monkeys. The Monkeys Donruss. So that, I think Steve Hart, who grades the boxes, he says, oh, that Monkeys, oh, that's the Canadian Donruss. And I went, it's called Grant Products, and it was Parker's before that. Please put it right. You know, what is a historian to do, right? You get mad at these guys who are putting things on there they shouldn't really be putting on, and they should know better. And the funny thing is Steve knows me. You know, we never talk. I talked to him one time, I think, when he was looking for information about a peachy when we were starting to do the wax and stuff like that. And he hasn't called me. But I am a phone caller. I'm easy to get in contact with. He could have just asked me, and I would have told him. You know, but a lot of people don't understand that Grant Product did the Monkeys. They did. But also, it was also done by Donruss as well. So Donruss had the licensing from the thing, but also they had the licensing for Canada. 2 different companies, nothing to do with each other. Same cards are issued because it's from the film studio that's sending them the images. So different cards. Any which way, that's
they're still not in the Hall of Fame, which I'm not sure why. The Monkeys should definitely be in the Hall, but that's another story for another time, I guess.
Is it TV Hall of Fame or is it, you know,
Rock and Roll
Daytime Believer? Yeah, Davey. Yeah, there was a few songs. I don't know. Can we really put a band that had one hit, 2 hit, or 3 hit wonders? I don't know.
Well, Buffalo Springfield is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they really only had one song.
One, yeah. That it's who you know, right?
Yeah. So
That's
maybe, yeah, exactly. Or it's just there's certain songs that really kind of like tell you the story of the era in which they were issued. But
Mhm.
that I guess it's a different story. And
The monkeys
you
is
know,
our era, so we like it too. So
yeah, I grew
we're
up.
gonna
I
defend
grew up
it a
with
little bit more than most people would.
yeah,
So
yeah. Uh, so getting back to Parkhurst here, do
yeah.
you know of um any sealed packs of Parkhurst?
Oh, that's the other one that Parker's did, Treasure Island. So
Oh,
yeah, they're the yellow pack and the red pack, and it came in this pirate box. I love pirate stuff. I don't know why. I just do. Do I collect it? I don't know. That 1924 Fry Treasure Island bar. I did a video on it, and I just love it. I didn't get a lot of hits on it, but it's really kind of a cool collectible card set. So, do I have any packs? What was the question again? Sorry.
do you know of any? Yeah. Do you know of any sealed hockey packs from Parkhurst?
Yes, there has been 260 61s found, 57s. I know we bought quite a few. We opened a few at the Toronto Sports Card Expo way back in 2008 to 10 because we got a whole bunch of packs. I think they were about $1,200 a pack. So we were opening them at our booth, and I filmed them. I filmed them all opening.
How do you feel about that, by the way? Opening up packs that old.
Really good.
Okay.
Leaving them closed is great, but there's enough out there for whatever reason. To have an unopened pack, is it guaranteed 100%? No. Are there any fake autographs in people's collections? Maybe. Are there any fake packs in people's collections? Maybe. So if I wrap a pack here and say, well, maybe this isn't sealed, but I got it and it's a pack. It's the only known pack. Well, is it? These are the things we don't know. Now, boxes, wrappers, we can confirm. Packs, we cannot 100% confirm. Now, that there is or isn't any out there, I think it's almost irrelevant in a way that doesn't really matter much, because if no one's ever going to open them, then you know what I mean. It's what's inside. Yeah, maybe there's a PSA. By that time, down the road, there'll be enough PSA 10s that you better pull at 10. Otherwise you won't get your money back.
Yeah, I'm torn. I'm really torn about this. Because if it's an unopened pack from like say the 1970s, like the mid 70s, 80s, 90s, I have no problem with people opening that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is when you start opening up packs from like the 1930s, 40s, or even 50s.
I don't even think the 30s is really that important, that they're sort of sealed in the 1 cent way. It's usually you can see through the wrapper. And usually you can see the card that's there. And usually there's going to be a gum stain or wax stain. So 1 cent packs have always been a non-starter for me. There's not much in them. It's 54 did 1 cent boxes as well with the 5 cent boxes for hockey. The 1 cent packs, it's one card. It's not going to be worth anything. The real reason behind packs is that the potential thereof of getting a high grade. That's really more than anything for most people. That's why wax has went crazy.
So it gets expensive. So Jeff Wilson opened up a pack of 1955 Bowman baseball, and I believe he paid $5,000 for it for the pack, and he turned $5,000 into $30.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's reverse osmosis, really. So just it's for the fun of it. And when you have a lot of money, I guess you'd like to do that type of thing. We opened the packs. We didn't open our last packs, but we had extra packs, and we opened them. It was fun. One had back to back. It had Gordie Howe and Terry Sawchuk. It's an awesome pack.
Oh wow!
I got the video. I'll be posting some of those in the near future. I think I posted one, but we had fun doing it. We had lots of people around our booth. We were doing it to keep the hobby going. We enjoyed the hobby. It was something fun to do. You know, it's like cracking an old 150-year-old bottle of wine. Like, don't do it. Well, it's gonna it's gonna cork itself soon. So you better do it sometime when you can enjoy it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have any problem. You can burn all your stuff. It's up to you. It would be a shame, but I'm just saying, possession is 9/10 of collecting. So
That's true. A lot of people enter the hobby and buy stuff because it's all about look what I have. This is right. Kevin O'Leary, right? Bought a $13 million card
I used to offer
because
21 million for it. Wow.
the, he
Please invest, please.
um it's getting back to Kevin O'Leary there. He's from my neck of the woods, and I'm not going to really question whether or not he's good for the hobby because I just don't know. Even if he is I think he's more of an investor. I don't really think he knows a whole lot
He's
about.
the new form of Vegas Dave. He's the new form of. There's always somebody new coming into the marketplace at the high end to, you've got Gary V. He comes in and then he goes and then he comes back. But he's a busy man. But yeah, his free friends are just whatever. You want them, go for it. It's just, it's a trope, I believe, more than anything else. But it's just about investing, making money on things, and sort of that's they're trying to bring NFTs back. It's like, oh, please. This hobby is it's so money driven now. It's so to that point. Our cars are money driven, yes, I understand, but if we had a fire in our place, we'd be sad that we lost our cars, not that we lost money. And I think it's the first thought that counts more than anything else. And collectors have changed, and society has changed in that way, and we can't control that. We can't do anything about it. But we understand that, I'm going to enjoy the movies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and you can enjoy the new movies that they put out now. That's fine. Like superheroes aren't even superheroes. They're not even big anymore, like Arnold. Like, it's just like, he's just a smart dude or, whatever. Things change. And you sort of have to enjoy the stuff you like, and you don't have to change with it. You don't have to get into the new cards. You don't have to get into the 15,000 parallels or the 40,000 rookies every year. It's just, it's gotten past that point of rationality for me, and I don't indulge. And all the news that goes on, I stopped watching content for the most part because it's the reiteration of everything. It keeps coming up. I don't need 10 different takes on why Rob Veres from his card company shop, didn't get his allocation. I don't care. It doesn't change my life. It doesn't do anything. I'm wasting time watching it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's just the way it is. And we do what we do, whether people watch it or not. The information is out there. It's evergreen. This stuff, no one's going to listen to a video that was about PSA did something back in 2001. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change anything.
Yeah, it's I have less than 1,000 subscribers. I love you all, by the way. But if I get very few views now, that doesn't mean that I won't get very few views in the future. 10, 15 years from
in
now.
Perpetuity, you'll have millions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. My information is out there for anybody at any time. And sometimes as a YouTuber, first off, it takes me a long time to actually find the information and then tell all of you out there about a certain player or a card or whatever. And sometimes it feels kind of lonely thinking that nobody really cares about what you're talking about. But the larger picture here is something that sometimes I kind of miss, which is that if you didn't have guys like you or I, you wouldn't know anything about the past, the history of this stuff. Somebody somewhere would be asking themselves the same questions that you or I are asking in the future, and I just have to like kind of like remember why I got into this to begin with, because I have a curious mind
Mm.
about the history of the hobby and the players who I don't want to forget about. Um, somebody somebody somewhere has the same feelings that I do. I just don't know who is gonna see my videos, my content, or when. But that's not really my problem. I think I just have to create the videos, and the information is out there. You know, and I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, very much the same way. Whatever goes on in the hobby for people today, that's the prerogative. It's fine. That I don't care for it has nothing to do with anything, really.
You know,
That I do the vintage has nothing to do with anything. I'm putting it out there for me. This does not pay. If anything, it's a draw. I'm
yeah,
paying out
exactly.
service fees and what have you to do all this. I'm just putting it out there so that it keeps people collecting. I think that was the reason why I did all the books over the years, is just to keep people collecting. If an informed person collecting it, hey, I didn't know that was that company. Hey, my dad worked there. Oh, geez, I should collect that set, or just something like that. When you put stuff out there, it's really important that the person has a connection of some sort, and through information we do. And we didn't have that back in 2000 until I wrote my second book. The food issue wasn't really going anywhere. There was stuff here and there, but then it went crazy. People were going, oh man, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm chasing that. That's Kellogg's. Oh, great, let's do that. And then you find the advertisements, you find these things, and that puts pieces together. And that's all we're doing is the world's a big puzzle. We're just working on the border. We'll let the rest of the people fill in the middle, but we just want to get there eventually. And as much as we can add in the lifespan that we do have, I'm happy that I did it. That's all.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know what I
too.
would do otherwise. I really don't know what I would be doing today if I didn't really have the hobby. There's only so much stuff you can buy. Like, a lot of people treat the hobby today like a mortgage payment. It's just like, oh, that box coming out, I got it like $1,200 there. I got it, you know, and
Well,
it has changed.
that's the other thing I want to kind of mention too. Was when I was at the Lucky's show in Boston, um, I saw I saw cards routinely. The sticker prices like 75,000, $110,000,
Which one did you buy?
40,000. Huh?
Which one did you
I
buy?
I did not.
What was the $40 ticker?
Yeah, I was $20 and up, maybe like, I don't know, I think that the most I paid for a card there was like 200. But I shake my head at this stuff, and I didn't really understand why you would bring cards like that to a show, knowing that, one guy just he got shot over Pokemon, and then you have
Yeah.
other like people who are, they're getting their cards stolen because the stuff is so expensive now, and there is a ceiling to all this,
It doesn't
and
seem so with that Pokemon card. I don't know. But that's
I don't
Pokemon.
know.
That's another thing. Most of the PSA graded cards are Pokemon at this point. So how is the sports card industry doing for you? Honestly.
Well, for me personally, I mentioned this a while ago too, that I put in a submission order for 13 cards to PSA back in November, I think November 16th, and I'm still waiting.
Wow. Oh yeah. Wow, that's a long time. I think I was talking to you last time when you submitted them.
Yeah, and you wouldn't tolerate that if it's your car, right, or anything that you needed to have tailored right, or anything like that. You wouldn't put up with that if it was something else other than sports cards. Yet we're waiting like 6 months, maybe sometimes a year. And if all they're doing is Pokemon, shouldn't they branch off? I have no idea. Like we don't really know a whole lot behind the scenes with these grading companies, you know.
No.
Which
Pokemon is a different thing. I think it's mostly investment. It's like kids aren't cutting grass or shoveling snow anymore. It's buy a few Pokemon cards and keep upping the value somehow, trading, doing stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And that if that what keeps sort of things going, that's fine. It's not a part of what I do. I'm just saying
yeah,
it is what it is. You can't change people. People are glued to their phones all the time, so they have so much easy access. It will make them lazy and keep them lazy. So, enjoy, going
yeah.
forward. Because
It
and then you get brainwashed by it too, because you see all these guys pulling stuff, and it surprises me the guys on Whatnot, they're famous and they rip people off. It's just like, come on, it's so funny, but fame has a price. What's that? 50 minutes of fame. Everybody needs that. I think everybody really needs that now. I think it's 15 hours of fame now, or 15 years of fame, or something. I don't know. Everybody wants to be a YouTube star.
yeah.
We're no stars, but
When it comes to creating content on YouTube, I've got a million years. Right? I'll I'll never I'll never have something not to talk about on YouTube, and I'm sure same with you as well.
well, we both bring different context to things, which is great. Me being giving a Canadian perspective helps a little bit in a certain way, and you with all the other American stuff, which is influenced by it through, the American stuff is Canadian stuff was influenced by it, so there's such a tie-in there. One, helps the other sort of thing. And what was going on between all those companies, and they were sort of related, like Goody and Worldwide Gum, same company, but different owners and different
Yeah.
countries, so, and you can do tie-ins all the way across the board with a lot of different things that were going on.
Yeah, and there's a lot of influence in the manufacturers of these sports cards too, which I'm always fascinated with these guys and how they started and who were they, in fact. And regardless if anyone else really cares, I care, and at the end of the day, I'm the one who wants to see the content out there, and unfortunately, like if I don't see what I want to find, then I'll make it myself, And if somebody wants to watch it, that's fine. If they don't want to watch it, that's fine too. You
Yeah, you're
know?
just putting it out there for people to have options.
Yeah,
That's all it
exactly.
really comes down to. You can't, force somebody. Can't force somebody to buy my app. But if they've asked me 10 times, 10 different things that they don't know that's in the app, then eventually I'm going to start telling them
Yeah,
it's in the app. Sorry.
yeah. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the app. Here you go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but I don't like technology. You use Facebook and eBay, don't you? Yeah, it's easier than that. Oh yeah. Well, okay. Whatever. We all have excuses for things. I wanted to show one card here, and
oh wow,
yeah,
that is fantastic. For anybody who has never seen that or doesn't know what it is, what is that, Bobby?
that is the 1924-25 Champs cigarette Stanley Cup card. That's the very first Stanley Cup card ever issued. The thing behind this is when they went to printing, what the whole idea behind it is to guess who was going to win the NHL championship, not the Stanley Cup, the NHL championship. This card was used as a supplemental for a few different players that kind of missed the getting cards made. So they put this out to compensate. And it was actually replaced because they actually issued another one without the Stanley Cup. It was just basically a card. We just found that about 2 years ago. And it's another supplemental card. Rare is all hell, but this is the most beautiful card. This represents everything about hockey. Is the Stanley Cup is mainly, what we all really play for. Funny part is So you chose your team to win the NHL championship, but not the Stanley Cup. The Stanley Cup was the WCHL. The winners of that played the winners of the NHL, and then they went for the Stanley Cup. And the Victoria Cougars of the WCHL won the Stanley Cup that year. So this card, and even though all the cards in the set are from the NHL, Cougars won from a team, a lesser team, so to speak. But I think it was a parallel team. It's just a lesser province, lesser population, but still a league, still an issue that was because they have the Paulines cards. And so I changed a lot of rookies in those ones because they went for the Stanley Cup. They should have. It's not all about the NHL, especially back in that time period. So yes, this card is very like World Series. Like, where do you get where's the card?
No, I can't think of anything like that.
So this is highly significant in a sense. Like they did them later. There's a few along the way, but then you got the pro set, you got the hologram, and people paying $5,000 for that. You know, this card is a 4, so it's a pretty penny. It's in that what you were talking about range.
Can I see the back? Is it blank? Is it a blank back or
no?
Oh,
I can read for you if you want.
Sure.
I'll get my good glasses on.
I really love the history of hockey, especially from like the 1910s and 1920s.
Yeah, I like the 20s too.
It's just really fascinating.
Champs Cigarettes, hockey players, a series of 60 cards. It says the Stanley Cup, the world's professional hockey championship trophy, originally donated to the Amateur Hockey Association of Canada in 1893 by the late Lord Stanley, then Governor General of Canada. I put Canada in there anyways. What's it say? The first winner of the cup were the MAAA Montreal, and the Canadians of the Montreal are the present holders. The MAAA was the Montreal Athletic Association, Amateur Athletic Association, and they had like the Detroit Red Wings have that wheel and the thing and the wing. It had 2 of those beside each other, and guess what owner from Detroit was in the MAAA? It was a sort of a gym league. The owner, that's how he got the Detroit logo from the MAAA. It's amazing.
Wow.
Is it Dunderdale or what's his name?
Tom Dunderdale?
I don't know if that's him or I think it's somebody else, but it might be him. I can't really pull it up. I don't know if anybody's watching can pull that out. It's hard to remember all those finite little details.
Yeah, there's a guy that I really want to study more. Tex
Ritter?
Yeah. Because he didn't he found the New York?
Yep.
Right.
Well, that's how the Rangers started, really. The Rangers started from Texas, from the Texas Rangers. There's some great backstory stuff here. Hard to believe. Yeah, Texas Rangers. What are you talking about? Oh, let me explain. It's really good. I can't give you the rundown right now, but I'm just saying that story is there. And that story is about the Detroit, but it was through the MAAA that he got the idea, and then he did the one wing and the wheel. It's just like, you can't write stories like that. So good.
It's fascinating. It really is.
It's kind of a fun story. It doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it is kind of cool to know that. I almost had his name. Any which way. He's all these little stories that we catch along the way, and that's the fun part about researching is you find these little stories. The Butterfinger hockey team, and the owner was a big, huge fan, and he sponsored a team. Did he sponsor a baseball team? Nada. So, go figure. Just it's the small stuff that's always the fun stuff. That's the fun stuff that I like to figure out and put out there. But I'm trying to get the big stuff all together. The Tops, the O-Pee-Chee, the Parkhurst histories, getting, all the chocolate bars and all that other stuff together, which is all together now anyways. It's just finding little pieces here and there. But, hockey's an easy challenge. You guys with the baseball, it's like, whoa. It's a lot of stuff. It's like, how do I remember this number? Why is it the R318 is the push the stand-ups? It's like, oh my God, I can't. I don't really, that's one thing I'll to be honest, I don't like Burdick's numbers. I find that it hurts an issue because
hurts your head.
No, it doesn't at all. I could learn them, and I know most of the hockey ones, but I like to call the issue what it is because we are paying homage to that company that was started. I want it to be the Champ cigarettes. I don't want it to be the V138, whatever it is. I can't even remember. So I don't call it that. And I always, when somebody says, "Oh, do you got the V147?" I don't know who's that. I don't have them memorized, but the guy who does the set does. I'd rather talk about the company. Oh, that was Willard's. Oh, that was, Pauline's Chambers. That was Opeachy. That was whatever. So I do like doing that. Yeah. More than I do like the Burdick, but
he apparently he had to. So, if you've read any of his very early stuff from like 1935, 1936, he's coming up with the prefixes, a different prefix system altogether. He had to switch only because when he was donating all of his stuff to the Metropolitan Museum, the director there told him, like, we need to catalog this stuff. It really wasn't like cataloged all that well. Hey, Orlando, I hope everything is all good with you. Thank you for joining, by the way.
And we'll say good night with that. Almost.
Almost. So he only kind of switched that around in like 1945, 1946, and I think when did he start donating? Around that time?
I can't really remember. I know a lot about him, but not enough.
Okay. I'm trying to change that. So
no, it's good. It's good. I understand the system. I just like calling companies by the year and the company. I think it pays more homage to me. He gets all the homage for the things that he did. I just like calling a Patterson chocolate, a 1924 Patterson chocolate, a 1925. I don't know. I don't want V145-1, V145-2. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not Patterson chocolate. It's William Patterson, 1 T. So, because people can't spell after that because how do you spell V145? Pretty darn easy.
Yeah.
Is it 1 or 2 T's in Patterson? Depends which company. So that's me. That's a very particular thing for me because these companies risked so much back in the day and they worked hard and they put out these premiums for us to enjoy today. It's just amazing, and they were just making a few extra bucks and trying to beat the competition to the next chocolate bar or piece of gum that the kid was going to buy, so that's why the advertisement. And back then the designs, beautiful. The Batters Up wrappers are phenomenal. The one's a little funky, the yellow and the purple, the second series 35, that 34 one's great. Advertisements for, all the clothing. It's just like, oh my God, is that even a wrapper? And probably few survived because of the coupons. You had 120, 220 coupons for, ball glove or something. It was just, wow, kind of crazy. And that's the fun part I like about the wrappers and the boxes and the advertising pieces. Those are the things that really stimulate me. The cards are always there. That's fine. And I know people like the players and the cards. I like the advertising more than I do like the cards themselves.
Yeah.
Always been that way because I like to see how things started.
Yeah. And me too. Yeah. So I think we're going to leave it here. Bobby, where can people find your videos?
I'm located on YouTube, and it's Bobby VHC, Vintage Hobby Curator, Vintage Hockey Collector. I like going with hobby now because I cover so many other things opposed to hockey. So, and hockey's pretty satisfied for me for the most part because I'm actually just waiting for the next piece of information. Whereas you can only dig so deep. So the other stuff is coming out, like the Butterfinger we talked about, and we're changing the name back to just Opeachy, whatever we're going to call it. I haven't figured it out, but I think that we satisfied that today, is that we get the right to name it. It's like that guy who discovered that planet. He gets to name it, so we get to name this Opeachy issue.
Yeah. Pluto, right?
Yes. So we get to name the card issue and how we feel that it should be called, because we have to get away from the Butterfinger, because it is completely wrong. There's no way that it is right, and we can prove it in 3 or 4 different ways, but you cannot prove it in one way that it is. So at that point, we win. So, and that's the way this all works, really. It just comes down to, you have to prove it right. You can't assume it right. But I have 3 things that prove it wrong. So, you have to defend the right, opposed to me proving it the wrong before I have to prove it right for myself. So that burden of proof is usually in the research and the homework, and rational. It's very rational to call that Butterfinger. Like I said, a Google search will just go, "Hey, 1994 came to Canada." Oh, well, maybe they kind of under the, went across the, the guy had the coach wagon. He was kind of driving across and bringing Butterfinger on the, maybe that's the stories you hear, because they'll defend it till they're blue in the face, right? But no.
Yeah.
So we get to name it. So keep an eye.
Well, with that said, thank you so much, Bobby. I really appreciate you. That was very informative. That was awesome. Thank you so much, everybody who is watching here and listening. And until the next time, we will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.